You're back with Ken Oath, the voice of reason.
The war on Christmas is underway again, folks. Have you heard this nonsense? Santa Claus is no longer, you may actually need to sit down for this, he is no longer allowed to be a white male. Unless, of course, it's a man who's transitioning to become a they, or better still, dressed in traditional Maori garb. We can thank the usual suspects in the councils, the community groups for this debacle, and no doubt at the behest of the UN. I'm speechless. I hate to ask you, but whatever next? Annabelle, go ahead.
Yes. Well, they tried to do this with Jesus, didn't they? They made out that he was a black man and not a strapping white hunk with flowing brown hair, like one of the more manly Bee Gees. He was a gorgeous man, that Barry Gibb. Mind you, in all likelihood, Jesus was a swarthy goat-like chap. Probably stunk to high heavens like that Gandhi troublemaker or my gardener. But Jesus was no more an African than but Charlize Theron.
Good point, well made, but back to Santa. Don't you think, Annabelle, that without any doubt, Santa Claus is a white man, ergo Mrs. Claus is a white lady? Now, if the elves happen to be bisexual, trisexual or self-seeding, that's just dandy. Just don't shove it down the throats of the kiddies. But if you mess with Santa, you have crossed a line, my friend, and I know a lot of people willing to take up arms to defend this last bastion of Anglo-Kiwi culture.
Well, you can count me in, Ken. You know, some of the ladies from my salon and I tool up for the annual rabbit shoot down in Alex. We shot 500 bunnies last year and a couple of non-pedigree cats. So if anyone comes for our southern Santa, we'll pop a cap in their arse, as they say in the movies.
By all means, give them the tooth fairy. No harm done. Easter bunny can be a turf, whatever that means. But keep your dirty mitts off Santa.
Oh, look, these feminazi radicals are off their tits half the time, Ken. We had one at our book club, always turning up with hairy legs and tedious tomes like that one by the traitor Eleanor Catton. I dealt to her, don't you worry about that. Dobbed her into the cops, slipped a wee baggie of cocaine into her frightful handbag, some terribly stingy number. I could see her eyeing up my Birkin.
Jeepers, Annabelle, that's a bit much. Even Danny Morrison wouldn't stoop that low.
I know. I've been trying to give up the snuff for yonks. It was actually left over from the shindig I had at my house after Cup Day. I had my septum done in Thailand last year, so I've had to administer it via the back of the fridge, if you know what I mean. But at my age, well, it's a little unseemly. Hang on. Go round the back, you idiot! And take your filthy shoes off. Ugh. I've got to go. My mum's just turned up. I thought she'd be in hospital for another month. Oh, shut up, Tinkerbell!
Thanks, Annabelle. Good to hear the Christmas spirit alive and well down there in Christchurch. Oh, it's time for the news.
The government has announced plans to ban children around smoking. Children under the age of 5 will no longer be allowed within 10 metres of smokers in public. The Ministry of Health says that the second-hand children are a major health risk to smokers who often gather on street corners like lepers or prostitutes, where they're exposed to unminded children who tend to stare, say embarrassing things, or even try to scab a fag. Meanwhile, plain packaging is to be brought in for MPs. From next year, members of Parliament will no longer be allowed to enhance their appearance and attempt to seduce voters by making themselves seem human.